What's up, my wizards? Dev from the place with the decks. That's the MTG down there. No, I'm not doing my professor shtick again today. It's just cold in Georgia somehow. It's the 5-day period every year where it gets cold in Georgia. Well, today I've got a deck that I've been tinkering with for a couple of weeks now. I've been talking about it for a minute. This is Sultai White. I decided to do that. I think this is definitely the best option for us. And don't worry, I've got a Sultai Aristocrats deck here at the end of the video. I'll give that to you. But I think Sultai White is definitely the better choice if you want to go all the way in this format. Let's kick it off. 18 creatures in this deck, which is a lot because we're sort of playing a control-oriented deck, but 18 creatures. I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 of them all at the same time. They're the reason to play this deck right now. 4 copies of Jace, 4 copies of Den Protector, and 2 copies of Tassiger the Golden Fang. Coolest name for a card ever. Yeah, just these are the 3 cards in the format. All 3 ultra powerful and big name cards in the format that will help you get stuff out of your graveyard, you know? Just we're incredibly recursive thanks to these 3 things. Creatures that die or spells that we use don't stay in the graveyard for very long, so we got so many ways of getting them back, you know? Just incredibly resilient when we're using these 3 cards. I don't have to talk about it too much, you know? Jace helps us draw a lot of cards and can recast things. DP over here, Denpro, just, you know, any creature that dies, any spell that we use, and Tassiger is the same thing, you know? Just nothing stays dead and no spell gets played only once. So unless they exile our things, we're going to have a field day just playing the same spells over and over and playing the same creatures over and over after, you know, they've removed them. So yes to these 3 guys. I think they're the entire reason to play the deck. 3 copies of Death Mist Raptor in here to go along with this Buddy D-Pro. Just an insane creature that, you know, it started off testing this deck with just 1 Death Mist Raptor and quickly realized that we absolutely need it. Just, you know, we hear this phrase in articles all the time, we need a higher density of threats, and that is absolutely true. Although the deck does run 18 creatures and a Planeswalker, it still does need more threats, you know, something to help really finish the game out once we establish some control. And Death Mist Raptor is really good at that. Not only is he a good way to finish the game, he's a great blocker in some stages of the game too, you know, and can be a 4/4 death touch guy. Just everything about him is good, and he'll never stay dead if they don't exile him, you know. There's just so many different ways to get him out of the graveyard. So, just, yeah, Death Mist Raptor's crazy, and we might actually play 4 if we can find the slots for him. 4 copies of Siege Rhino in the deck. There's a card with white in the casting cost right there. Just, you know, we're sort of playing like an Abzan Blue, or I like to call it Bant Black too, because the name's alliterative and it sounds awesome. Bant Black. Alliterative names are the best. But in any case, we're sort of playing Abzan Blue too, you know. We've got a lot of the cards from the Abzan shell we just plugged in here. Siege Rhino being one because, you know, he's one of the best creatures in the format. I mean, beyond, from Jace to Den Protector to Tassiger to Siege Rhino, we're just playing like all the best creatures in the format minus Mantis Rider are in this deck. So, I mean, I feel like Siege Rhino is just an absolute must-play. And one that, like, never dies because of all the stuff that we've got to bring it back. You know, Tassiger, Den Protector. Just, it'll never stay dead. You get multiple, into the battlefield triggers off of 1 Siege Rhino, and it's just stupid nasty. Just, great creature will more often than not be the thing that finished the game out for us. And to finish off the creatures, 1 copy of Silumgar the Drifting Death. I just see too many reasons to play the guy, you know. Really good high-end threat. He's a clock, although a slow one, but he is a clock, you know. He's the only flying creature in the deck. That's somewhat important. Hexproof is insane. Kills smaller creatures when he swings in. That's awesome. Just everything about this guy is stupid, crazy. Like, I definitely don't see any problem with playing at least the 1 in the main deck, although he was in the sideboard for a little while there. But he's just so applicable in a lot of different situations that against control, against aggro, against a lot of decks, he's good. So I at least want the option of playing him. And again, I'll say it again, higher density of threats. You know, we need a lot of threats in this deck to really close the game out, because again, 18 creatures is less than it sounds like, because they're not all insane threats, you know. So this guy's really good clock and swings in through the sky, and we need that. Onto the spells, we're playing a lot of them, but I'm going to split them up. We're playing 10 copies of spells that could be considered removal, you know. If you didn't notice, a lot of our creatures cost an awful lot of mana to play. So in the early game, we have to function sort of like a control deck, you know. We have to play a lot of small things that can sort of clear the way for us. So what do we do here and why? You know, we're playing a lot of 1 and 2 ofs because this functions, again, an awful lot like a control deck, and we're drawing a ton of cards, so we get to play fewer copies of more things. Starting with 1 copy of Silk Wrap. Now you'll notice there are a lot of 1s and 2 ofs in the deck. We're drawing a lot of cards, you know. We stand to be more versatile this way. Now I don't want to play too many Silk Wraps, even though it is a very powerful card, because I want to be able to recast as many things with Jace as possible. I think that's important. And we can cover the same bases as we cover with Silk Wrap with some other cards, but I think it's still important So it takes out everything we worry about, including, and I'll say this about 1,000,000 times in this deck tech probably, Anafenza. Anafenza is really big. We're seeing sort of the resurrection of Abzan on the higher level tournament scene right now. And Anafenza is a very important card in that deck, mostly because she helps to beat Jeskai Black just by herself. And she beats this deck by herself. Anafenza is just crippling against us because we're trying to make sure things go to the graveyard so we can get them back. If we can only use things one time, that just completely just takes one of our legs out from under us. So we've got to deal with Anafenza. This is one of the things it does, and pretty much every other piece of removal we have can help us deal with Anafenza early in the game. 2 copies of Ruinous Path in the deck, sure, it kills Anafenza, but this also kills Planeswalkers, another threat. If we're able to awaken, that's pretty cool. We're not too worried about it. And the worst thing it's ever going to ever do is take out a creature. So at least 1, if not 2, I'm playing 2 copies of Ruinous Path. 3 copies of Abzan Charm, yet another thing that takes out Anafenza for us, and exiles her. That's really, really cool. And takes out pretty much all the other important creatures in the format, you know? So that's awesome too. We gotta have something like this. It's an amazing card right here. And a lot of options on it if we don't want to destroy a creature, you know, or exile a creature. Hell, there's a lot of stuff we can do. We can make Den Protector bigger, maybe making him a little bit, you know, unblockable. That's a possibility. Or we can, you know, draw cards. Who doesn't want to do that? 1 copy of Valorous Stance in the deck. This wasn't always in the deck. A fairly recent addition, but again, takes out Anafenza. That's really important, and keeps our own dudes from dying. You know, they're going to try to take care of Jace in the early game. They're going to try to take care of, you know, Tassiger. Siege Rhino has this huge target on his back, so important that we can protect our dudes and take out their guys. I know it's just a 1 copy, but again, we're drawing a bunch of cards. You know, we're going to be seeing a lot of these 1 and 2 ofs throughout the course of the game. Again, we play like a control deck, so I think it's worth staying at least a 1 copy of Valorous Stance in the deck so we have some removal options, and also against some decks, an option to keep our guys around. 1 copy of Utter End in the deck. We've got the colors we might as well play. You know, it takes out Hangerback Walker and all the other things that we're afraid of in this format. You know, Planeswalkers included, some artifacts, you know, just a lot of things this card does. I at least want to play 1 copy. And this card's getting pretty important by the day, you know. I can see 2 of, you know, but I definitely at least want to go with the 1. We got 1 copy of Murderous Cut to almost finish the removal here. Just, you know, we are playing Dig Through Time in the deck, but I think we can still afford to play Murderous Cut, even though we want to get stuff out of our graveyard, you know. We're playing a ton of fetch lands in the deck, totally facilitates Delve, and Murderous Cut is too versatile of a card not to play. We'll often play this for 1 or 2 mana at instant speed and takes out whatever on the board. Just insanely good card. And we've got the stuff in the deck to play it. We're conducive to it, so yes. 1 copy of Dromoka's Command in the main deck. Again, I think it's important to play just the 1 copy because it's so versatile against a lot of different stuff, you know. Against aggro and even some mid-range decks like Abzan, we can do the +1/+1 and fight, and it functions as removal, and really good removal at that. We can also make, you know, Jeskai sacrifice their Ascendancy. That's really, really important. Some decks will sacrifice Silk Wrap. That's also important against us. So just a lot of reasons in this format right now to play Dromoka's Command, and I don't think anybody's too surprised. Now, this is one of the best cards in the format, and it does so much against so many different decks that it's totally worth playing the 1 of, because the worst thing it's going to ever be is removal. On into the sort of regular cards. 1 copy of Jutai's Command in the deck. It was 2 at the beginning, but really the only creature that we really want to just, you know, put right back onto the battlefield from the graveyard is probably Jace. We don't want to do it with Den Protector so much, you know, but definitely Jace. Now, it does help 4th turn if we can counter, say, a Siege Rhino or something like that, and get our Jace back after they've removed it. That is a blowout play. But there are other plays with the card. Just countering a creature and, you know, drawing a card or gaining 4 is always really good, you know. If nothing else, you'll gain 4 and draw a card. That's awesome too. So Jutai's Command, again, just versatility is key, and this deck is very versatile. It gets to play a lot of the most versatile cards in the entire format, you know. So I was playing 2, but I decided in the end that it's probably somewhat important, but only like a 1 of important, you know. And again, we'll say it one more time before I'm done. Don't fret over the 1 ofs here. We play like control, and we'll see a lot of these silver bullets. But we're playing a play set of this card. 4 copies of Dig Through Time, and yeah, I'll play it over Treasure Cruise despite the double blue commitment. I would just, in a deck like this, much rather see 7 cards than just like pray that the top 3 are really good, you know. It is worth the double blue commitment all dang old day. You know, Dig Through Time, just one of the best cards in the entire format, and you could argue one of the best cards we've seen in a long time. It's banned. It's so good it's banned in Eternal formats. Like, what else do you need, you know? And to finish off the main deck, 1 copy of Ob Nixilis. Just 1 Planeswalker in the deck. some degree of inevitability in that ultimate, especially against other control decks. We can deal at least 4, if not 6 damage a turn cycle. That's awesome. But just being able to wipe out a dude when he hits the board is really, really important, and being able to draw his cards is pretty important too. So I just really, really like everything that Ob does in this deck, especially with sort of how mid-range and methodical we are. I think we can afford to play him. And again, if nothing else, he's going to take out a guy. It's the worst thing he'll ever do is take out a guy. So love Ob. Love, love, love Ob. 26 lands in the deck. Look at them. There they are. It's a fairly easy mana base to build. And yes, we do need the Shambling Vent. I get that the Shambling Vent might jump out at you, but I didn't play it for a while. But again, one more time I'll use this phrase. Higher density of threats. And Shambling Vents at least gives us that one more threat against some decks. And against other decks, helps us sort of recoup some of our life total, block a guy, that's really important, considering we really need to cover the early game to get into the mid game, So Shambling Vents is, I think, important to play, but the rest of the mana base is fairly easy to figure out. And here's the very important sideboard here. Sir, some of it is just padding, adding extra copies to cards that are already in the main deck. But things like Dispel could actually be in the main deck. The card is really important now against not only, some aggro decks like Atarka aggro, Jeskai, that's important, but control decks. There's just every deck in the format has a card you can Dispel, Transgress the Mind also could be in the main deck, but it's mostly against control, which we actually have a really good game against already with how resilient we are. We can get anything they remove, we can get back. Our creatures don't stay dead. And here are your power rankings. Stick around, Sultai Aristocrats. I'll take a couple of minutes for that one. But just wanted to address some of these numbers. We are playing some of the most powerful cards in the entire format for this deck, and we have more resiliency than you can shake a stick at. Just more resiliency than any deck I've played so far this season. 10 of the cards get stuff back for you, and Death Mist Raptor will just come back when you flip up Den Protector. There's just so many different ways that your stuff doesn't stay dead ever. So resiliency is insane in this deck. And it does everything fairly well, except it's not particularly synergistic. It's not great on offense, it doesn't have a good O or anything. But defensively, versatility-wise, we're a really good deck. And it's just like a control deck. We bide our time till the right moment to strike and sort of turn the tide in our favor. Here's Sultai Aristocrats. We'll take a few minutes on this one. Well, you may notice, first of all, there's no spells in the deck. None. It's all creatures. This helps us get away not playing Jace, although we might still play Jace just to draw the cards. That's cool. And put stuff in our graveyard. But, we've still got a lot of the important versatility cards that we have in the other deck. We got Den Protector, we got Death Mist Raptor at 4 of, we got Tassiger. So our creatures won't stay dead after we sacrifice them to Nantuko Husk. We play a much smaller game than most Aristocrats. Most Aristocrats will just try to blow you away with one huge turn, rally the Ancestors, sack all my dudes, deal a bunch of damage, This deck is much more methodical than that, but any creature that dies we can get back fairly easily. And not only those creatures I've just talked about, Liliana, she helps us get stuff back and she flips very easily in this deck. We can play Hangerback Walker in the main in this deck, Just so many good things, and Sidisi's crazy. I wasn't able to fit Sidisi into that first deck. Sidisi's amazing in this, and the sequence of turn 2 Zulaport Cutthroat, turn 3 Nantuko Husk, turn 4 Sidisi is nuts, especially since on turn 5, if you get the land drop, you can morph down a Den Protector and flip him up, getting something bad that you put in your graveyard with Sidisi the turn previous. So just there's so many good sequences inherent in this deck, and I think that it's really fun. It's super duper fun. We don't have any sort of coup de grace, big play like Rally might have, Rally Aristocrats. But we sort of play a really, really long game, and we have a fair amount of board presence, that's really important, although we don't have much defense. So these huge board states happen that we're actually going to do very well in because all of our dudes will be coming back, and we can, let go of creatures in combat more easily and deal a bunch of incremental damage with Cutthroat. So this deck has been really good in testing too. I just think that the big boy deck is definitely Sultai White. It's just got a lot going for it. It's insanely versatile, but this deck is definitely its fun little brother, It's this guy you can go drinking with, but Sultai White is super cereal all the time, But this deck is hella fun. Well, that's all I got for now, you guys. What are we doing next time? Probably Mardu Planeswalkers. A lot of people really, really like that deck. But I do want to do the mono white deck coming up soon. But a lot of people really into Mardu Planeswalkers, Mardu Super Friends, whatever. So I think I'm probably going to do that one next. If you enjoyed the content, do me a solid. Like, share, comment. Please let me know how you feel about this one. I spent a lot of time on it. Really, the deck is nothing like it was when I first started, It's really tuned the shoot out of this deck. But in any case, please let me know how you felt about it. And if there's any improvements you'd like to make, I want to know. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, my wizards.